Hi everyone, welcome back to Level Up Land 2. I am now, after having collected all of the Chronofacts on my 4th time up cycle, training up to fight Pandemonium. And I don't actually know how strong the enemies I can take on, so I'm going to try and see how I do in 16. I'm not going for the keys, but I am just, as in I'm not focusing on them, but I am just collecting keys on my way to see what I can do. And so far I managed to get the keys for base 11 and, well, 9 and 11. So I'm thinking, maybe I can do 16. Because I'm at the point now where I get so many so much experience that it's a really weird order. But I'm going to try and get this key, and if I can, and I can make it back, I'm going to then go over to number 18. And if I can do 18, depending on my on how it goes and my chronometers, might give 22 a shot. See, oh, I mean, I am at the point now where this is yeah, see, I'm not too sure about this, although I am leveling up quickly, so if I can get a few fights in, it's going to really help. Ah, that did not work in my favour. Oh, swing. Right. No, that's not going to help, is it? That's no. Well, maybe 16 is a bit too far ahead. Let's, oh, I didn't turn the encounter rate up when I went in there. Let's try 14. And if I do that, I'll try 15, and if I can do that, I'll do 17. Right, let's turn the encounter rate up. But still, like, looking at Warren's health, 2,500, that's good. That is very good. See, I went into 16, but I went there straight away, and I still put up a good fight. Even though it did kill me, I put up a good fight, and that was like right at the start of a warp cycle. So it's good, isn't it? Scorpion's going to bop me. I'm just going to laugh at the fact that it bops me. It's funny, you know, when enemies... I know Dragon Quest 8 did this a lot, where enemies would skip turns, but it would be like they would frame it as in like they laugh maniacally or whatever. Anyway, this is a lovely fight, isn't it? Yeah. How exciting. Yeah, they would like laugh maniacally or something. And it's interesting how like the energy, the time and energy it takes to do something like, you know, like jumping out and attacking. It's like the same amount of time and energy it takes to laugh. So you would expect them to like jump out, attack and laugh whilst they're doing that, like, you know, like oh, I'm a crazy goblin, I'm jumping around and everything's hilarious to me, ha ha ha, I'm so cheeky, you know, you'd expect that sort of thing. But no, they attack and it's like, right, okay, I've attacked, I'm gonna laugh. I mean, now I could probably take on 16 because of like these stats I've gained. What a strange layout for a dungeon, the way it's all zigzaggy. With a big triangle in the middle. Triangle, rectangle. There's a triangle in the middle of this fight. Maybe that's what my eyes saw and thought. Maybe you know, it just the triangle in the middle there caught my line of sight, and that made me think of triangle when I meant to say rectangle in the middle. Oh, 1 second, I'm going to sneeze. And I'm back. That was a good sneeze. I needed it. Imagine you travel down these zigzags like one square time. Like imagine, hold on, I'll show you when I've finished this fight. I don't remember there being aliens in here. It is interesting how a mech is smaller than an alien. But again, it's not just scale. It's just meant to be a rough representation. Three or 4. Imagine you went naturally. You went down like this, like did it one step at a time. Oh, can we kill the leprechaun? Maybe. No, not quite. But there's a sphinx. Oh, hold on. Right, I had to cough and have a drink of water. Yeah, a sphinx. This early on. Are you having a giraffe? There must be rare in here. It must be like a 1% chance or something like that. Yeah, see, these things are proper like end of time up cycle sort of deals. See, the thing is, right, for like your playtime, for the majority of your playtime, you'll have already seen like most things in the game. So like when you complete the first time warp cycle, it's like a big deal. It's like, oh wow, there's this new thing called time warping, and I've got to think about this now and all that. But from that point on, up until the actual final Pandemonium fight, there isn't really any new content. It's just more variations of everything you've been through. Should I bother going to 15 or should I just go straight to 17? I think I'm just going to go straight to 17, you know. I think at this point in the warp cycle I'm too powerful to go to go to 15. Yeah, but I also think it's going to be worth me travelling anywhere else after this place. I should just stick around in 17. Anyway, here we are in Roden. Oh, counter 8. Got to send it back up again. There we go, orcs and wyverns. Yeah, this is going to be quite a challenge, I think. I might have made a mistake. I might have made a mistake. Coming here rather than 15. Well. Okay. Whitney and Blake, can you take out this orc at least, please? Oh! What happened there? That was a big attack, wasn't it? See, I'm looking at my stats here and I'm thinking... See, I was under the impression that these stats would be good for 17. But instead of just get unlucky or something. Right. Okay. So, let's go to 16 again. I think I'm a bit more powerful now, so I'll try 16 again. And if I can do 16, then I'll go to 17, I think. Don't know why I'm using the demon. Yeah, because I think... Hold on, wyverns in 17. See, I always think of... When I think of 17, I always think of yetis, even though I know that obviously there are yetis in other places and there are other enemies in 17, but yetis are just the one that I associate with 17. But I think there's more yetis in 22. I think 22 is like the main home of the yetis. So let's have a look at Ron's health. So 2798, that's when we call this Garuda. 2821. So 30 from a Garuda. Oh, got to turn my encounter rate up. Remember, experience and training is my primary focus here. If I don't get the keys, then whatever. Oh, encounter it again. I mean, saying that, I am getting into plenty of fights. Just could have the encounter rate up. I think the way it works, the way it's calculated, can do with a regenerate all, and you can have a regenerate on top of that. I think the way it's calculated, chance to get into a fight is, I think it's like a raw calculation, and then like it first has to like hit a number between 1 and whatever, and if it hits that number, then it takes your encounter rate and it multiplies that by it hits like a number between 1 and what, it's like two numbers. There's two like RNG numbers it determines. The first one is based on whether you're inside a dungeon or outside a dungeon, and the second one is based on your encounter rate. And if both of those lines hit below the threshold, then you enter a fight. I think that's how it works. So any fight, like any step where you don't get into a fight, there is a chance that could have been a fight had your encounter rate been higher, but of course you don't see it, it's all behind the scenes. Right. Let's keep it up. Right. Do. Mostly for Whitney's sake. I mean, I'm glad they both hit, but still, Whitney, you've got... oh, well... Managed to save Whitney's life there. I've been lucky. Still, I'm thinking, okay, so Warren's health. It's not like he's got. It's not like I've got a ton of body shells on. So I'm looking at his health and I'm thinking he should be like my overall stats should be more than capable, unless he's just had loads of growth compared to the others. Oh, that might be it. Maybe he's just offset by the growth. Maybe he's leveled up more, as it were. That's something to take into account, actually. You don't really see. You don't see like the individual growth rates. You see the growth rates, but you don't see them. You don't really notice them happening like independently of each other. I mean, I suppose if you did it for long enough, like it could be that if you unequipped everyone of everything and Whitney had higher health than Blake, or even if Whitney had higher health than Warren, then that's an indication that yes, you've definitely had more, lots of, like, for example, mind boosts over body boosts. I like the whole, in terms of my characters here, I like the terms, I liked how I associated the terms body, mind and soul with those three characters, the way that I did. Because I think it sort of matches, their personality in a way, and I think that's also the case for Poltergeist is pretty powerful for their starting elemental strikes. Oh, this could be close. Right, I don't want to use that yet because I want to be able to get. I want to make sure I get as much in as I can. Aqua Blast. Oh no, I wouldn't have done it anyway. So yeah, that's interesting. Regenerate all. Ooh, that's good. It's got 2 boosts on as well. Right. Well, let's, before I do anything, regenerate all. Yeah, let's do that. So I'll get rid of that. Okay. Let's go to 15. So, how am I at? Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, so Warren. The thing is I like to have, in a sense, I feel like it's nice to have like diversity there in terms of like personality and combat style and all that. Not necessarily. I think that well, I'll get into. Okay, I'll explain what I mean. I think it's generally a good idea to have some semblance of like diversity across your characters, but I think that diversity across characters becomes very typical and standardized to the point where the diversity we see is expected. When I'm talking about diversity here, I'm not talking about like, different people in different groups. I'm not talking about, oh, we've got a black character, we've got a trans character and all that. I don't mean that. I just mean like in terms of, you've got like different personalities. That's the thing I'm referring to in this instance. Anyway, this is not going our way at all. Well, I managed to get 400 experience out of it. That went really badly. Why is this going so bad? Yeah, so there's... Actually, I'll go to 13 and I'll go to 15. Because the thing is, you don't want to, like, go to places... If you go to places where it's just good enough so that you can beat them most of the time, you also run that risk of having to warp a lot and therefore losing your stats and having to travel more and more, which takes up more of your time. But anyway, so I'm going to go to 13 and then I'm going to go to 15. I'll try that, I'll see how that goes. But anyway, yeah, as I was saying, the diversity of characters in terms of personality, it's very much a case of you want it to be there, but sometimes you always have that same type of diversity whereby the thing itself loses its identity. So, like, say, you know, they announce a brand new like multiplayer game, like something like Overwatch, like say something like Overwatch, or you know, something like that, where it's got, oh, we've got all our little kooky characters with all their own personalities and their own like certain styles and everything. Now, the thing is that you know what you're going to get a lot of the time. They'll have their own variant versions of it, but you know what you're going to get. Shouldn't have regenerated all then. Regenerate all. Regenerate old. Yeah. So you know you're going to get the big, strong, slow guy, and you know you're going to get the fast, nimble thief, and you're going to get the you're going to get the magic user and all that. You know, there's certain like things that you're gonna get, like the nice healer, like, oh, I'm so nice and lovely, right? You get that. Now, I think of that sort of like the same sort of thing as if you were to, for example, have a new platform game where it's like the first level is a grass level, then it's a desert or like ice, and then there's like lava, and you know, there's all these different things that just, whilst it is variety in and of itself, it doesn't hold on to its own identity in a way. Whereas if you had a platform game that was set in the desert, you would have variety in a different way. Like every level would be like a desert level, but you would have like a level where it's like at an oasis or at a camp. You know, just like little things like that. So I think you've sort of got to be able to take into account those sorts of things. So when I say, like with my characters here, I think it's I like what I've got, and I like the way I sort of personalise them. So I mean, just to give them like a brief overview, you know, Warren is like, he's strong, he doesn't use magic a lot, but he does a lot of physical damage, and he's like got lots of health, and he doesn't talk much. He just sort of like, you know, he's the big buff physical guy. And then you got Whitney, who's more of like the healer, and she's smart, and she's always like thinking way through things. And then you got Blake, and see, Warren and Whitney sort of represent two polar opposite ends of the spectrum, where Warren is sort of just the doer and Whitney is the thinker. So I've got the way I thought with Blake was, I thought that Blake would be like oh, this is a, oh, can't wait up. This isn't going to sound right, but Blake is like the feeler. Yeah. So Blake has, like, his thing is passion. You know, he, like, where you might think, like, typically Warren, you might think of him as like the angry one. he doesn't like show anger. Unless of course, you know, Squirrel turns up and he gets enraged and he wants to use rage on them all the time, which is something that I've made up obviously for this playthrough. But Blake is actually like the most passionate character in this game, because he's the one that he's always asking questions. He wants to know things. He wants to learn. He really values like he values friendship. But yeah, he's really like inquisitive, and it's like he wants to be strong. He wants to be smart, even if he might not always be. He's always asking questions. He's always like trying his best. Whereas the other two, they're sort of just going along with like, yep, this is what I can do. Warren is like, I can hit them with my axe. I'm gonna do it. And Whitney is like trying to figure things out, and she's like, right, you know, this is what I'm going to do. And Blake sort of, he doesn't know where he is. He just sort of tries his best. Yeah. So, and think of body, mind and soul. I think they really match up. So Warren, body, like, you know, the strength. Whitney, mind, like she's a thinker. And Blake, soul, because he's got like the passion, the desire to learn and everything. And like, you know, he really enjoys Level Up Land, the TV show. So yeah, and I also think of like their starting element. You've got Warren starts with Pyro Strike, so it's like, you know, aggressive, and Whitney is Aqua Strike, and Blake is Aero Strike. And I think it all matches up pretty well. But I also thought, like, I didn't want it to be just as simple as like, this person is the attacker, this person uses healing magic, this person uses black magic or evil magic or whatever. So I'd sort of like mixed up. Like, yeah, Warren is primarily like the I'm just thinking, because I'm looking at that sniper there. Yeah, it's going down. Yeah, Warren, he does he is primarily the physical user. He can only equip 2 spells, but he can still use spells. It's not completely out of his wheelhouse to be able to use spells. And where Whitney is like the most magic based character in the game, she actually falls behind Blake in his ability to use demonic spells. So Blake sort of gameplay wise comes across as, in a way, as like a magic user, in the sense that like a mage, in the sense that, you know, he and the sense that, oh, he is the demonic magic version of Whitney. He's not just the demonic magic version of Whitney. He's his own person. He's his own character, and that's because I think, you know, if you get, you know, teams of people, like friendship groups and everything, the skills aren't perfectly balanced. It's not, you're not gonna have a world where it's like this person is good at this thing and this person is good at that thing. There's always little contingencies here and there, and I think I've sort of captured it with this, and I think that in a way the fact that whilst Blake is the demonic magic user of the group compared to the rest of them, not really. I mean, he can equip more than 2, but most of the time he's going to be using just 2, and it's not like his intelligence stat is really high. I think his intelligence is actually, I mean, obviously we've got enchantments and different like growth rates affecting it all and everything right now, but Blake's intelligence is less than Warren's. And I think that sort of a less stereotypical, maybe, identity to the characters gives the game some identity, if that makes sense. Anyway, so we've got that key, just so, I mean, looking at these stats, how long is it going to take me to walk over to base 17? I mean, am I overestimating myself again? Or am I really strong? Because, like, at this point in the warp cycle, because look at Warren. Nearly 5,000. You go through base 23 with about 5,000 health on Warren. So 17. I mean, these starting stats, like these stats I've got here, I think at the start of a warp cycle is more than sufficient enough to go and take on base 23. So base 17 shouldn't be a problem. But of course I'm basing that off Warren's health, which I know is skewed. I mean, maybe I could go to base 19, but again, am I pushing it? Or should I settle for 17? Because look, Warren's about 5,000 health. Is that a good enough barometer to work on, or am I missing, or am I not seeing like the nitty-gritty details of my character stats? Yeah, so you get RPGs where the variety within the characters gameplay wise is minimal. So one example people like to use is Final Fantasy XII, how at least in the original, which I think the original is better than the Zodiac Age version, but in the original version, which by the way I should point out, the Zodiac Age, I don't like how they treat the Zodiac Age as a replacement for the vanilla version, because it's not the same but more, it's a different game. But anyway, I'm going off tangent. So Final Fantasy XII, just the vanilla normal version of the game. Oh, Whitney's on 3333. So the vanilla version of Final Fantasy XII, what differences are there between the characters? Because at the end of the game, every character can use every ability, they can equip every weapon, but it's still part of the game's identity that they can do that, and it's still part of the game's identity that each character can be different along the way, and it is still within the game's identity that they start off slightly different, not loads but slightly different. And I think, you know, all those things work towards the game's identity, and that's perfectly fine. I don't like this mindset that some people have that all the characters have to be like so unique, like you have to have one that they're the healer and you have to have one that they do this, because really if they're not like that, you know, variety is the spice of life. So whilst I think people think they're trying to advocate for variety. I think Whitney got sniped. I think whilst they think they're advocating for variety, what they're actually doing is advocating for a lack of variety within the scope of all games. Because even games that do have that lack of variety in the particular characters, they can still have variety in other aspects, in other things that influence their character stats. Like I've always said with Final Fantasy VIII, that whilst the characters don't have much variety within themselves, because you could just swap like junctions around, where you really see that variety and that personality is within the GFs. And I think people underestimate personality as displayed through gameplay mechanics. Beyond just, this character is happy and they run around a lot, therefore they have a high speed stat, like with Final Fantasy VIII, like for example, the GF Eden has this, and this is the example I like to use. It has the GF Able Med, and it can turn items into items that teach your GF's abilities. And I think that's... oh, what am I doing? I want the encounter rate down. And I think that's like a very strong like mark of identity that this Eden GF is something that can affect these other GFs in this way. And I don't know how to describe what I mean. But yeah, it was quite a bit of a round there, I guess. That's alright. But anyway, back to this game. I'm going to go to 19 because look at Warren's health. It's almost on 6,000. That's like end of time warp cycle stats nearly. I think wasn't he on 8,000 by the end of the last time warp cycle? I think so. I know it's a ways away, but gee, if I can get there. I wonder how strong he'll be after I warp. Random blob of mountain in the middle there. Yeah, there's a random blob of mountain to the west and a random blob of sand to the north. I don't know if I mentioned this, but these grass tiles, they are randomly generated, and every time you warp or time warp, they are randomly regenerated. Anyway, let's see how this goes. Because these stats are, I've got high stats, so I should be able to take it on. I've got at least what I can see from my health, at least. And if I can do this, I might actually go to 21, maybe. It's all progress. It's all a sign of stats going up, numbers going up. Just getting stronger for Pandemonium. See, Blake is down, but still, this. Oh, not having good luck with these spells, but still, it's right. Glad that one worked. The fact... oh, perhaps a bit too premature for that one. The fact that I can defeat these enemies... I shouldn't I? It's a sign of progress. I will eventually get to the point where I can just go straight to like 23 and just train there right from the start. But when I do, it's going to be a case of training to the point where I can just equip enhancers and whatever's got boosts and attract on. Yeah, like speaking of identity and all that, in terms of like games and characters and everything, I do also like how I feel like the games, like I was saying, like the games have their own identity, and I think in that regards, like the series has its own identity. Like if you compare Level Up Land 1 and 2, there are stark differences between them. You know, like just a lot of the mechanics are just completely different. But I think what you can see persists between them is the Level Up Land identity. And like say you got the first game, right, that comes out, and like what that game is, that is the identity of Level Up Land. And now that this game is out, that's contributed to the identity of Level Up Land. Anyway, come on, generate all, please. Right. Oh, that was decent. Ah! Just kill that thing. Right. Oh, that is a lot of damage. For 1,000. Right, yeah, I'm just focusing on this fight. Come on. Heal all, regenerate all, something. Any demon? No. That's... I need to... Rage? No. Come on. Oh, can I have a regenerate all? No. Okay, okay. Am I not as strong as I appear to be? I'm keeping that. Keeping that for Pandemonium. Oh, I'll keep that extract as well. Right. Right, so I'll get back to my point. 2 outer essences. Or maybe... oh no. Ah, I suppose... with gaining experience faster, you get to the point where you can take on the higher enemy, the stronger enemies quicker, but you get fewer spells in that time because you're doing fewer battles, and so that doesn't keep up as much. Ah, interesting. That is interesting. Oh. Right, I've got a bit of time. Warren, you are nice and strong there. I'm just going to go and try and do 16, and I won't have time to go and do 18 probably after that, but you know what, I'm just going to see what I can do in the meantime. Yeah, basically, okay, let's get back to what I was saying. So, Level Up Land 1 came out, and that had, Level Up Land's identity was formed by that game. And when this game came out, or even just like during the process of me creating it and everything, the identity of the series changed with it. See, now, even though there's a lot of the same stuff is carried across, the first game, which is about like extracting spells from enemies and all that, that's no longer a fundamental part of the Level Up Land identity, and so it becomes more clear as to what Level Up Land is in a more general sense. And so what we end up with is the ability to hone in on certain like specifics of Level Up Land, and that becomes more pertinent the more games get released. And of course you could apply this to every series, but for example, the terms strike and blast, whilst they're used differently in this game, you know, you've got elemental strikes and blasts, it's not just a strike and a blast spell. It does sort of like help cement into that Level Up Land lore that strike and blast have a particular meaning. That like strike is a basic like attacking spell, and blast is the same but more powerful at the cost of a bit of accuracy. But overall more powerful. So by creating a new game and everything, what I'm doing is I'm adding to the identity aspect of the thing. And I think when people say like, oh this series has changed, or this band has changed, or whatever, and therefore it's worse because of whatever reason, I think when people say, for example, this isn't a true so and so, I think, well, no, because as new games have been developed, as bands release new albums and everything, the identity of what that thing is changes with it. So, I mean, people look to the combat system of, like, going back to Final Fantasy as an example, people look at the combat of the game since, like, after 10, and people say, oh, it's better, it used to be better because it was turn-based. Final Fantasy isn't this action-based thingamajiggy, it shouldn't be like this. Well, first of all, I think that's overstated in the sense that I think 12 and 13 are closer to turn-based than people realise, and even 15 in a sense, because there's a lot of like factors that go into it. But even still, I think using the argument of Final Fantasy never used to be like this, that doesn't work as an argument either way, because the past is the past. Whatever happened, if those games are good, then they're good games, regardless of what like comes out in future, and whatever comes out in future is good or bad on its own merit, regardless of whatever happened in the past. So say if, for example, a new Sonic the Hedgehog game came out and it was a first-person shooter, right? Okay, we would say this isn't a true Sonic game. Well, it is, because they've made it as such. I mean, you might say you might not like it, and it might not have captured the spirit, and it might actually be a terrible game. But it being a terrible game isn't dependent on what has existed in the past or what will exist in the future. Of course, you know, if it's a case of like, well, I was expecting something different, like, fine, fair enough. I don't know. I just think, I mean, like, I tend to agree with the idea that, like, with the Final Fantasy example, I tend to agree that the earlier ones are better. I agree that, I agree, well, I think that 15 isn't as good as, like, is nowhere near as good as what the series has been before. I think 12 and 13 are probably like below average compared to the rest of the series, but not to the extent that people claim, not by a long shot. And that enemy just used long shot there, and I was trying to like see if I could time it right, just to be, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, but not by a long shot. And I think it's people really over exaggerate it. And at the end of the day, I think it's amazing that a game can come out, and even when people like agree or make out like it's a terrible game, they've done everything wrong. I still think it's amazing the fact that there are still going to be like people on YouTube who are like, oh, here's how to defeat this boss, and here's my method and my technique and everything. I mean, even if I agree that the game is terrible, I love that that's a thing. Because I think that speaks to the inherent value of just games in general. Although I could never... You know, you get YouTube channels where it's like they focus on one thing, like they've got an audience, and it works for them because that's... You know, it's all about marketing, and it's all a business, isn't it? These days, gone are the days where YouTube is just a thing for fun, I guess, for the pure enjoyment of it, for the most part. I mean, I'm not thinking that I'm gonna, like, with me playing Level Up Land 2, I don't think to myself, oh, this is gonna really boost the download figures of Level Up Land 2 and everyone's gonna want to play it. I don't think that at all. I do this because I'm proud of it. I made it and I'm proud of it, and I'll show you all it. But yeah, you do get people like who will only make videos about Kingdom Hearts, and it's like, I like games. I just think to myself, I couldn't do that because I'm interested in too many different games to be able to focus on one thing. Like you get these channels that are focused exclusively on Age of Empires 2, or like Bloons Tower Defense, or Sonic ROMs, Sonic hacks. There's all these, you know, these channels that are just based on one game or one series, and every video is being very specific to that thing. Like they'll have like each one's like, oh, here's my top 10 bosses from Kingdom Hearts 3, and they'll put you know, and then they'll have another one which is like, what is the most overrated weapon in Kingdom Hearts 1? You know, and everything's different but somehow related to Kingdom Hearts. And that goes similar to what I was saying before. That is like an analogy to what I was saying before about, you know, characters in a game and everything. But yeah, this has been one of those episodes where I just sort of go off rambling about whatever topics enter my mind. Most of it completely unrelated to, well, not completely unrelated, I was talking about my characters and everything, so it did link to that. What was that last bit about? What was I going on about that for, with the different people on YouTube? I don't remember what the catalyst was for that particular, what the launching point was for any of that. I don't know. I can't remember. I just sort of got deep in thought and zoned out. I mean, if I wanted to, I could just focus entirely on Level Up Land all the time. Be like, oh, top 10 spells from Level Up Land 2. Which, I mean, I could do that, but I don't know. It's interesting. Like me playing Level Up Land 2, it's more just a case of, you know, this is something I made. I'm very proud of it. I wanna show you all it and sort of like cement its existence on the records, so to speak. Definitely not lucrative for me to do this. It's a passion project, purely a passion project. Anyway, I've got another key, which, like I said, getting the keys isn't my intent, but I do need to keep like darting between these different bases to be able to that between the different bases to be able to measure and get like decent progress going with my leveling. But I'm approaching the end of the session, so I'm going to have to warp. I won't have time to go to another base, so I'll just maybe do a few more fights, then I'll warp and call it a day. Yeah. And see whatever spells I end up getting. Yeah. Like another like example of like an identity of Level Up Land is warping, like the concept of warp, which in the first game it was just like a spell, you know, just like one of the spells. In this game it's like a core menu feature. So the concept of warping has developed in such a way that it's being brought more to the foreground, at least in this game. But yeah, I'm gonna warp once I've defeated this guy. Another extract, I'm getting plenty of them. Extract is really not that good of a spell, really. It's an odd one. Keeping that chaos, he's got a couple of boosts on. Yeah, excellent outer essence there. That's a good regenerate all as well. You know what, right? I think these two spells here are going to be prime candidates for Pandemonium fight. This regenerate all and this outer essence. I have to make absolute sure that I don't accidentally delete them. Extract. But you know what? I'll just get rid of the extracts. I'll keep enhance. And I'll get rid of refresh. You've been keeping hold of that Aqua Blast, haven't you? Right. Well. So yeah, that's good progress. Right. So I'm going to end this here, so thank you for watching. Oh, need to remember to save it first, before I do anything else. So thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.